Welcome back to Nick Landis Comic Corner, Classics / Non-Classics. This is the 800th episode of my Comic Corner series. And I think it's 600 and, how much is it? Look, I forgot to check this before I started this. Let's see here. Wait, no, wait. I just did one a couple days ago. I know that. Yeah, last Comic Card uploaded was like 3 days ago. So 694. Yeah, my 800th episode. Wow. And can you believe just less than 2 months ago I hit 700? Yeah, because I keep putting these out like crazy. Yeah, don't expect another Comic Corner for another few days. Because, well, I might do a Comic Corner maybe Saturday. Maybe, because I'm going to get some trades tomorrow when I go to Comic-Con. Yep. But yeah, 800 episodes, and this is like less than a month before my 5-year anniversary of recording videos. Yep. Okay. So I have 2 trades here. One is basically a trade. I have never reviewed the comic format. I have reviewed the novels of this particular franchise, never the comics. All right. This comic is Star Trek Countdown. Yep. It's set up for the Star Trek 2009 reboot film. Yep. Oh, by the way, does the film bother to mention the series? Well, they mention a little bit of it. Not much. They mentioned, like, if you saw the film, mentioned about the destruction of Romulus, death of the main villain's family, Spock being near blaming Spock for it. Yeah, that's really it. This takes place mostly, I think it takes place in the 2380s. It takes place in a possible future for Star Trek, though the novels don't follow this future at all because Data, who's actually in B4's body, he's in B4's body. In the novels, he took over a body that was briefly possessed by his late father, Dr. Noonien Soong. Yeah, this was explained in the Clone Equation series. Yep. Here he took over B4's body, and he's now the captain of the Enterprise. Worf shows up in here, and Geordi. Geordi shows up for like one issue in here. Worf is a general in the Klingon military. Also, Nero attempts to kill him. Yeah, stabs him with a tentacle. Well, a big tube that somehow he controls. I'm like, is he the Borg Queen? Yeah, I thought this was really weird when I saw this again. It's been a while since I've read this series. And Picard is no longer Captain of Starfleet. He's an ambassador. He's the Federation ambassador of Vulcan. Yep, that's the official title now. Nero, first time you see him in this book, he does have hair. And those of you curious, though, in the film, where the heck did he get that spear that he had in the film? He actually took it from the Romulan Praetor after he murdered him right in front of the surviving senators. Yep, he did. Because apparently he didn't care for the man, so yeah. Also, Spock has been deemed a legal resident on Vulcan. Not Vulcan, Romulus. Those of you curious, though, like, this is tying to something that happened in one of the Star Trek series? Yes, this is sort of a loose tie to the two-part unification, which Larry Nimoy did as a favor to Paramount to promote Star Trek 6. Yep. Yeah, after 20 years of living on Romulus, he is now a legal resident. And apparently the Vulcans don't like him for doing that for some reason. And, of course, his father has been dead at this point for about 20 years. I gotta say, this is actually a pretty dang good miniseries. It also shows his progression from having hair to having no hair and those fancy tattoos on his head. They also explain how he gets to his ship, the Narada. That was actually given to him by a group of Romulan rebels who don't like the Senate. Yeah, they apparently don't like what was going on, so they just gave him this ship. Though It's a little weird that the ship is got like platforms all over the place. Yeah, I'm surprised the card didn't talk about the whole platforms thing. Probably because it was never seen in the actual adaptation of the actual movie. Yeah, the movie believe it or not, the 2009 film has a movie adaptation. I've never read it, but I know Linkara just did a review of it. I think it was just last week he did a review of it. Yep. I gotta say, great miniseries. Those of you curious though, who wrote this miniseries? This is written by the guy who writes a lot of the, pretty much like all the reboot Star Trek comic books. This is written by Mike Johnson and Tim Jones. Artwork is by Dave Messina. Also, the Enterprise E does show up in here as well. Mm-hmm. So, fantastic little miniseries, and I believe it's only just a 4-issue miniseries. I believe it is. Yeah, only 4 issues. Yes, I do know about the one about Star Trek Countdown to Darkness. I do know about that one. I have read it. It's been a while since I've read it, but I probably won't get a chance to get my hands on the trade again. I'll probably review. I'm going to give this book a 9.5 out of 10. Next up is a trade from Mark Millar's line of books. Now, this book hasn't happened to a film. I've seen parts of this film. I've never sat down and fully watched it. As a matter of fact, the only Mark Millar films I've seen, the adaptations of his work, have been Kingsman: Secret Service, Kingsman: The Golden Circle, those sequel, those not exactly the other from his work, and Captain America: Civil War. Yes, Civil War is written by Mark Millar. This one is Wanted. Yep, this big, giant-sized graphic novel. Yeah, it's written by Mark Millar, art by J.G. Jones. Yep, this is just an oversized graphic novel that he wrote. And, let's see. It was a 6-issue miniseries. Mm-hmm. And those of you curious, though, what company published this thing? Why, Image did. Yep. And this continuity, in this particular series, what's the story of this series? Apparently, prior to the events of the series, the villains all teamed up to take all the superheroes. Why does this sound so familiar? Yes, he basically used the same concept for Old Man Logan. The only difference is the villains actually killed all the heroes. Here, they just basically beat them up and brainwash them, convince them they're just actors on TV shows or movies. Yep. And apparently, the main character, his name is Wesley Gibson. He is told that he's actually a son of a supervillain who apparently died at the start of the series, and he's convinced that it's told this by a thief known as Fox. Yes, this is the same character played by Angelina Jolie in the film I've seen with the cover. Yeah, I've seen parts of him, so I know what character she played. Yeah, in the comic, this woman is black. In, of course, Angelina Jolie. Mm-hmm. Yeah, apparently, Wesley Gibson's girlfriend frequently cheats on him, and apparently, this girlfriend, well, I'm not going to criticize this woman's appearance, but yeah, they refer to her as a fat girlfriend. Well, she's kind of chubby, but not too bad. Yeah, she's a bit chunky. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what they refer to her as. Yeah. And then he finds out that his father actually is alive, and apparently this miniseries takes place over a period of a few months. Yep. It's an interesting little miniseries. If you like the film, I recommend checking this out. If you're a fan of Mark Millar, go ahead and check this out. I'm going to get this book roughly an 8 out of 10. It's not exactly my cup of tea, but I did find the miniseries pretty enjoyable, especially when they had the first group of criminals who call themselves the Bare Naked Syndicate. Yeah, where these 4 men basically robbed the bank butt naked, and the only thing they wore was their hats. Yeah, and no superhero wants to get a fight with a man who's basically butt naked. Well, I can basically respect that. I mean, who want to do that? Yep. It's an okay little miniseries. Yeah, like I said, 8 out of 10. I do like the artwork. Artwork is really good. It's not a bad miniseries per se. The only reason I reviewed it because it's Mark Millar. I do like his work. But this is not my personal favorites. I do like some of the other ones. I have read Kick-Ass. I do enjoy that one. Kick-Ass is very good. I've read Kick-Ass. All 4 Kick-Ass books, and I've read Hit Girl. I do enjoy those. This one I did not enjoy very much. I have reviewed Civil War. That's another Mark Millar book I have reviewed. I've never reviewed any Kick-Ass books. I have read them. Good books. but I've never reviewed the trades. Let's see. I've never read Trouble. I've heard of it. Never read it. I know there's other Mark Millar books out there. I've read a good chunk of them, but I haven't read every single book this guy has published. Wanto is definitely one of the mini-series, one of the main books that he has done that I have read. Yeah. Otherwise, though, that's really it for this particular review. I know this is kind of short, but yeah. I mean, the Star Trek one I was really wanted to do. I just wanted to do the trade Wanted because I wanted to make this one a double shot and then want to make just a standalone episode. Yeah. Am I going to review any more Star Trek trades? Maybe if I can find any. Yep. I know the library does have some trades. I'll look for them. Yep. Excuse me. Do I own the movie Wanted? Yes, I do. I have watched parts of it. I haven't sat down to watch the whole thing yet. I haven't heard any complaints about this particular. This is one particular work on Mark Millar's I've never heard anybody talk about. Maybe people talk about Kick-Ass. People talk about Civil War or Kingsman. Not Wanted. Nope, not this one. Yeah, this is one particular work of his that apparently just no one cares to talk about. Isn't that weird? People talk about Civil War because how somewhat bad it is. Yep. Kick-Ass because of the films. In the case of Kingsman, also because of the films. But I know for a fact just recently Mark Millar has done sequels to both Kingsman and Kick-Ass. That's where Kick-Ass 4 comes in. Yeah, there's a fourth Kick-Ass miniseries. It's being published right now. It's already about 7 issues in right now. And unlike previously, now over the years, Mark Millar has had this reputation of not having book come on time. Mainly examples of this is all 3 volumes of Kick-Ass, and of course the 2 volumes he did for Ultimates. Yeah, but in the case of Ultimates, yeah, it took 2 years to release 13 issues. Yeah, Mark Millar's got a reputation for this. I mean, like a lot of his comic books, yeah, he basically tends to fall behind on books for some reason. And I tend to think, though, why in the world at least it's limited series. If this was an ongoing series, yeah, then it'd be a problem. I know this guy is also a big fan of Superman. I heard about this. Yeah, I read a little bit. I've read pretty much all of the Superman work that he's done. Most of it, anyways. I've read Superman for the Animals. I've never read that one shot. I've read some of his Superman work, but I haven't read all of it yet. All right. Not much else to say. I really would I have reviewed one other Star Trek trade. I forgot about this one. This is actually my second one. Yeah, last one I reviewed was a crossover between Star Trek and Planet of the Apes. This is the first one I reviewed that's related to the reboot films. Yep. This book kind of started it off in the case of reboot films. Yeah, because aside from this miniseries and the following one, there is 2 crossovers with Green Lantern featuring this particular series, at least 2 ongoing series. One, the first one was just remakes of episodes from the original series. The second one was just something that took place between during that time skip in Star Trek Beyond. In the case of the previous ongoing series, the first 20 issues take place between the 2009 film and Into Darkness. Once you get past the halfway point of the series, it pretty much fills in the gap between Into Darkness and Star Trek Beyond. It's a really damn good series. There's even an arc where they make Q of all people. And yes, it's a John Delancey one. Yeah, I found the series to be really damn good. I like some of the changes they made to it. They even do some flashbacks in the series of stuff that happened like during the original film, like that scene where Kirk drives his father's car off a cliff. Yeah, they actually show what happens right after that. Yeah, that actually happens in that series. Yeah. Otherwise, though, that's really it for this particular review. Stay tuned a little bit later for my review of the 7 Deadly Sins manga. I'll probably save for tomorrow the review for 7 Deadly Sins. I'll probably take a chance to read it tonight, but I kind of want to get back to watching some more anime. Okay? But until you see the next review, bye.